the search world, searching for bombs, it is probably the most dangerous job there is in the world, and unfortunately, as it did for me, sometimes it goes wrong, and when it does, it tends to have quite catastrophic circumstances behind it. So the Felix Fund helped me massively. Obviously, with the trip to Sydney for the surgery, they were instrumental in helping us to achieve that with the funds that they freed up for us, and as well with funding my rugby wheelchair that allowed me to take part in the games in Toronto and in Sydney. So they've been absolutely fantastic in helping not just me but my wife experience new things and to get us back to normal as such.
I spent 24 years in the Royal Engineers. Supported Parachute Regiment, supported the Marines, and then EOD and search community. I was a high threat search team within that sort of team. Our first search task as a team, my search advisor initiated a device, lost a leg. Team commander got fragged to his face, his eyes. Flash forward again to when I was coming up, and there was a big difference. My wife noticed straight away there was a massive difference. I stopped varying my routes home. I was that anxious, that nervous going into work in the morning. I had to stop just before I got to camp, and I'm physically sick. I'd convinced myself that people I was working with trying to kill me. When I knew something wasn't right, I was properly ill. That's quite close to taking my own life. Was referred to Felix Fund. The 4 days I spent with Archie and Lizzie just completely changed my life.
My name is Tim Jones. I'm a retired Lieutenant Colonel from the British Army. I served 31 years and was medically discharged back in 2024. When I was at Sandhurst, I saw a simple demonstration by an Army EOD team. And once I saw the robot, the guy in the suit, blowing up bombs, I was hooked. I've served with covert and overt forces and been fortunate enough to work with our country's special forces. But after a tour in Afghanistan, I suffered pretty bad post-traumatic stress disorder. Having flashbacks, intrusions, it affected me quite badly mentally at the thought that I could potentially lose control while I had my young family in the car with me and I wouldn't know anything about it. So I went for treatment and was really well looked after by the Army. And the reality is that they gave me some tools to help, but they didn't really solve my problem. I'd known about the Felix Fund for many years, but primarily through identifying and seeing the support that it had provided to the families of the people that we had lost, and indeed the guys and girls that we'd only injured overseas. I never thought it would impact me or have any effect upon me whatsoever. But an old friend of mine, Dan Rayland, the chair of the fund, identified that I had a problem and recommended me to attend the dashboard course. The dashboard staff were absolutely amazing, and in the process of a week it placed my difficulties in the firm light of day, opened my eyes, I think ultimately to an understanding that we can have these problems, we can recognise them, and we have the power within us to deal with them. I think for me, most importantly, it was acceptance. It enabled me to gain an acceptance that I was ill. The dashboard course and the Felix Fund have arguably made a huge impact on my life. And I think, for a start, I had some pretty dark days in my time over the past few years. And I don't think it's unrealistic to say that there's a potential chance I wouldn't be sat here talking to you now were it not for the Felix Fund, and in particular the dashboard course, which, as I said, has helped me to put everything in context, to manage my condition. And it's arguably saved my marriage, it's arguably saved my life, and most importantly, it's enabled me to work now in an environment where previously I would not have been able And to give you some context, since I left the army, I've been to Ukraine, I've been to the Middle East. A couple of weeks ago I was climbing an oil rig in the Strait of Hormuz, doing a search and an EOD clearance to check for unexploded ordnance and debris and potential IEDs from our friends in Iran. So, has it helped me? Absolutely. And I would commend all of you to support as heavily as you can this marvellous fund which looks after all of our EOD and search community.